is good. But
first of all, I think that figure should be the opposite way.
I agree.
The first season should be more,
Yes.
so that we try and stay on the circuit, and then second year now we can see.
I agree. It makes more sense. So at least even pushes you to ensure that you remain in the circuit, because it's going to be very tough.
You need more support when you're going in the first year rather than the second year.
Yes. So as I said, 33 million. This first season, this return 2024, 2025, 25, 26 is now the 49. Sorry. But yes, there was a bit of now rumors and murmurs. Initially, even these rumors had begun much before, because apparently the players some of the players are not training. That's the thing. So ideally, they should have been in camp preparing for the start of the season, which is at the end of this month in Dubai. And we all know, and you know the pool that we are in. Your pool ni hard small. It's going to be a tough one, because you have who? You have France, the Olympic champions. They also won the World Series. You have who? You have South Africa. They also won a medal at the Olympics. You also have who? You have Australia. So you see, that is nile unaambiwa karibu welcome. At least
you've been away for a while.
At least when you check in, at least you given soft landing kidogo, at least some.
Hata tu team GB.
Kidogo tu, at least kitu cha kupatia at least some, because the high possibility it will be day one itakuwa hard small. Anyway, so the rumors that some of the players have not been, to some extent they're not in the team, is true.
Yes. So let's be clear. Co-captains are not in the team.
They're not in the team.
Tony Omondi and Vincent Onyala.
Yes.
Why are we leaving them out? Or what's the grapevine saying about why they've been left out?
So I think all this stems from the issues of the contracts, because remember the contracts that has been a very, very big bone of contention. It almost feels like deja vu, because if you look at the history of the National Sevens team, this has always been a bone of contention in terms of contracts, proper pay arrangement and stuff. So I think there were discussions that they had off-season in terms of the new arrangement that would have in terms of the contracts. But clearly, some promises were made, some promises were not delivered. And some of the senior players said, okay, fine, we'll see how things pan out. And
so
clearly,
what are some of these promises?
So the promises was their salaries their contracts were supposed to sign. They're supposed to have an increment.
Yes.
About depending on, because you see they're ranked differently. They're the senior players and the upcoming players. So ideally, if you're a senior player, your remuneration is obviously different from the upcoming players, because you've been there for a while. You have that level of experience. Naturally, it's almost the same like for a job, for a formal employment, because you're given a contract. It's a formal contract.
Yep.
So because of your seniority in terms of the number of times you featured for the National Sevens team, and also the tournaments you've also represented, because some of these senior players have competed at the Olympics, they've competed at the Commonwealth Games, they've competed in the World Sevens Series before they were relegated. So there's that level of seniority that they have. So with that level of seniority, it means that the remuneration was supposed to be slightly more. Some were supposed to get, I think, double or triple. That was the recommendation, that was the wish amongst the two parties. Then I think there's a bit of a miscommunication somewhere, there's a bit of a push and pull somewhere, and that would not come to realization when the players signed their contracts recently.
So when the offer, there was a promise, there was a gentleman's agreement. This is what we are going to do.
Yes.
But then when the contracts showed up, it hadn't been done.
Yes.
And I'm guessing the two senior guys asked questions.
Yes. Because they're the captains. They are the captains. They are the ones who, the buck stops with them in terms of contact to the player welfare. If you think about it. Because they're the ones who will say, the players will be like, look, they're the voice of the players, if you look at it naturally.
Yes.
So they're like, look, this is what we wished for, this is what we were recommending, and this is what we wanted. So, because you see, bottom line, Wakabi, you need to understand that these players that's their bread and butter.
Yes.
That's their bread and butter. They put their bodies on the line. And the kind of pressure that comes with playing for the National Sevens team, Wakabi, naturally, I think we should get like several sponsors so that these players get a proper financial package, so that they are able to put 150% on the pitch, because it feels like we've made progression in terms of the skills, in terms of performance, but now we seem to going back to those funny stories that we used to have previously in previous administrations about contracts, about pay, about remember before we were relegated.
Yes, the players. This goes back to 2009, 2010, 2007.
Yes.
This story is never far away of contracts and sevens. There is always something happening. For a few years there, when we had Virgin and things were going on, there is always a story. Like everything three every
Exactly.
every so often. Something
Exactly. Which is a very unfortunate, because what I'd want is, full disclosure. Like, you've been given 84 million Kenya shillings. We need to understand how much is going directly to the team in terms of the remuneration, and how is the payment structure. Because we need to understand, and I think that we need to understand what these players are earning. Because if you're giving a player X amount of money, if you calculate it per year, and then you compare it to the amount of money total that they're getting, there's something off. Because remember, flights for the teams are catered for by the organizers. Accommodation and food is catered for by the organizers when they travel for the World 7 Series. So this is purely for preparations and the remuneration.
Yeah.
You understand? And allowances. I'm not sure if there's a bonuses arrangement for this time
There
round.
should be. In theory, there should be. There
Yes,
always
yes.
should be a
Yes.
bonus kind of thing.
So that at least it gives them impetus and momentum when they're performing, so that they're able to know, if perform vizuri, there's something extra over and above what you get every month. So my fear is this disquiet and this confusion will just do more harm than good as they go to Dubai and South Africa.
Na imefanywa quietly,
Yeah.
quietly. Hata
Yes.
hakuna story mingi inafanyika. No, quiet. I just saw a tweet and then I saw another one. Then it became, and I asked myself, what is going on,
Yes,
bwana?
yeah.
What is going on here, And basically they say and basically all the tweets were saying was simple. The two of them did not sign the 2-year contracts. So I guess the players are holding on, and I guess the office also is trying to hold on and say, let's see what we can do. I have a feeling once we have had the first tournament, we are going to come back to this conversation.
For sure.
Because if you don't have your two most experienced players and then you struggle,
Yes.
then you are going to need you and if you bring them back, see, then you'll be at their mercy.
Yes. And the other thing we need to understand, Wakabi, the reason why these two players are very central in the squad is because Tony is a good kicker. And
Yes.
he's a playmaker, and there's a way he has a calming effect. He doesn't play with panic. There's a times you need sometimes somebody who's a calm.
Even the way he talks,
Even the way he
it's not
talks, his
panic.
demeanor,
Yeah.
his aura. Same for Onyala. Onyala, like, even when the Kenya team was doing badly, you always knew Onyala, even if he has a bad day, or if like there's something he will do that you'll be like, okay, I didn't expect that. That's something, because he's a very good rugby brain.
Yes.
He's a very good rugby brain. And he's a captain. He's a co-captain. He's somebody he's able to say, look, this is the direction we're taking on the pitch. If things are not going the way they expected, there's a way he'll be like, okay, fine, let me do this. Because remember, Kenya Sevens largely is, for the history of the game, there's always that one or two players who, every time they have the ball, you're holding your breath in anticipation of something exciting
magical.
or magical.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that he has.
So, remind me our teams in Dubai. We have France.
Yes.
We have Australia.
Yes.
And we have the Blitzboker.
Yes.
And we don't have our co-captains.
Yes.
Mungu atuonekane.